Kingdom Death Monster. Y'all ever heard of it? This game is an absolute monolith. If you don't know what this game is, it's a horror survival game. It is extremely difficult. You don't win Kingdom Death Monster. And I say that knowingly, going into every single campaign, because it is still worth the fun and the trouble that this game is. Let me be very clear, okay? This game is unforgiving in the most cruel way possible. I have played quite a few games now, both on my own and with family members, and this game continues to hold my attention due to how unforgiving it is. I like to say it is a fun game, and yet it also is not, and that will make sense later. If you've played this game before, you know what I'm talking about. I will be in the progress of making more minis and painting them as this series progresses. I really hope you guys like this series because I would love to do a ton of videos on this, on specifically KDM. But let me get this set up and then we will go over a few things for those of you who do not know what's going on. Okay, so for those of you who don't know or have never played this game before, old KDM here, here's a very, very brief introduction on just the mass of stuff I've got laid out here. So everything starts with the book. The book has everything that you could ever want or need inside of this game. It gives you your rules at first. It goes through all the different events and the structure of the game and the rules and how you fight monsters and how you survive and everything else. The book will tell you everything you need to know. You got severe injuries here because your people will get severe injuries. They will be so hurt all the time. You got your giant, when you go on hunts, you go on these very elaborate events and things happen. You'll see, things happen when you go on these hunts. The book has everything you need to know. This will make more sense later once we start actually going through the game. But anyway, we'll get back to the book later. We have the showdown board here, which is where we'll fight all the monsters. But then we've got all the gear and the stuff you can make. There's settlement events that you draw from in here. You got locations where you build things and it tells you, you know, what you can... If this could go into focus, that'd be just swell. Those tell you, based on what resources you have, what you can make. There's a bunch of different tokens, stuff like this one is a damage token, +1 damage or +1 damage or -1 damage. Again, if my camera could ever focus, that would be just so swell. Nah, we just ain't gonna focus today. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Look, maybe real close up you can see it. It's fine. It's fine. Y'all get the idea. And then there's a bunch of different terrain, which is really fun. Hopefully we get to see a bunch of varieties of terrain. And then over here, we've got a whole bunch of monster cards, basically. This is all the cards you're going to use to go through the game. Like when you need to fight a villain or something. Like our very first fight will be the White Lion. Like this is the entire stack for the White Lion. Again, all of this will make sense later. And then you've also got stuff like, this is your terrain cards where, let's say this is the bug patch, so it'll tell you the directions and such. There's resources, your innovations, which will make sense later, I promise you. And then we've got some people, some monsters over here. And this is the White Lion. We're going to be fighting him soon, here in a few minutes. The Screaming Antelope, just survivors in general. Some of the little minis that I've made. I want to make so many more minis. And then you've also got this little board here that tells you how to go through the settlement phase, which I probably won't be using too much since I I know how this goes. I don't need to use that side. So this is the hunt board, and so when you're hunting a monster, they will go on here and you will do events, and you'll do random events for just storyline stuff, and then you'll also do events that are specific to the monster you're hunting. This will make sense in the next episode when we do an actual hunt. Like I said before, I don't know if I said it before actually, but I will say it now. I am very bad at explaining things. We're going to go ahead and just jump into the prologue, get the story going, and we'll see how it goes from there. So first things first, we have to make a settlement first off. So full disclaimer, I will be using the app, the Scribe for KDM app. That makes things infinitely easier. It's a lot easier to use the app, and it's a lot faster to use the app rather than doing just paper recording, because the app will just hold everything, and technology is great, and that's what we're doing. So we need to create a settlement. So let's go through some of these names and see what pops out. It's always giving me really good names within the first like 10 randomizations, and I don't like any of these, to be quite honest with you. Well, I kind of like that, Amarante. You know what, let's go with it. Hopefully you guys like the name. I'm going to stick with it, because I like it. So, Settlement of Amarante. We are not doing any expansions. This is just a straight core game playthrough. This is version 1.5, by the way. I'm really excited for whenever 1.6 comes out, but this is just 1.5. So, we get started with these 4 given starters. This is the people that wake up, and their names are Alistair, Erza, Lucy, and Zachary. So we're going to keep the names of our starter survivors. Let's go ahead and go through the prologue story, because if there are people in here who have never seen this game before, the prologue is really important. Let me see if I can show you guys the game book as well as read it at the same time. I don't know if I can. Once upon a time, there was a place of carved stone faces. A man with a lantern lay sleeping a dreamless sleep. The man knew nothing. One day, the man woke up. He rubbed the dried ink caked over his eyes and opened them. Around him, he saw other people stirring, and beyond, a horizon of unbroken darkness. A woman approached the man with the lantern. Her soft hand reached out to him. They had no words. They were a mystery to each other. Suddenly, a monster emerged from the darkness. Its eyes wild with hunger, it attacked. The people were no match for the monster. It tore their flesh and crushed their bones between its feet. Some it devoured whole. Overcome with terror and grief, the man with the lantern collapsed to the ground. Cold stone noses pushed into his side. There was no escape. But the man did not want to die. Desperately grasping at the cold stone faces, he felt a crack and tore it with all his might. A piece of stone came free. It was sharp and deadly. The man with the lantern scrambled to his feet, his weapon clenched in his fist. He took a deep breath and roared into the darkness. Somewhere in the place of stone faces, nameless men and women stand together. They have nothing but a need to survive and a lantern to light their struggle. And we begin. So that is the base storyline. These people wake up and they just have to fight. They have to fight this lion. And see, it's really nice on the app here, because you can just depart and now you're in the fight. So now I must set up the fight. Alright, so we have the board set up. We've got our survivors in place. We've got the white line in the middle there. I've already shuffled our hit location and our AI deck according to the book, which I've got right here, we have to start off with Claw on top just for the prologue. The rest of the deck is shuffled normally. We've got our basic, we've got our info right here, our basic action, and stats on the White Lion for the prologue. It's got a movement of 6 and a toughness of 6. We'll keep that in mind when we start attacking. But let's go ahead and depart. I don't think we have any arrival bonuses, but there we go. So now we are able to fight the lion, which is the official start of this playthrough. So best of luck to our little survivors here. May the dice be ever in their favor. I'm gonna do my best to roll right here so that y'all can see. Okay, so the monster always goes first, unless there are rules otherwise later with certain monsters, but for now, the White Lion is going first. So we go ahead and pick up the Claw card, which it's gonna pick the closest threat facing in range, which is all 4 of them. So it's gonna come up, well actually we're gonna pick who is being targeted. Usually the way that I do this is I'm gonna roll a dice and it's gonna land, whatever it lands on will determine. So we're gonna do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1s and 10s are a reroll. So that landed on a 9. So it would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to target her at the end here. So our lion is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there we go. So Claw has a speed of 2, which means we get to roll 2 dice and an accuracy of 2+. Unless I roll a 1, both of these will be hitting. There we go, they both hit. So now we get to roll the hit location dice, which tells you where exactly they get hit on their poor little fragile bodies. Oh, great, look at that. They're both to the head. Love that. I love that. That's great. We're starting off this campaign fantastically. Who did we say that miniature was? I think that was Lucy. So, as you can see, she has no armor on her head, so we have to lock in one of those for the first hit, and she will be knocked down. Because once you fill in all the blocks on here, they get knocked down, and the next hit will be a severe injury on the head table, which is never fun. Knocked him over. Oops. So we rolled 8, and then this is where you need to keep the book handy, because the book has this wonderful page that has all of the severe injuries. So since we rolled an 8, according to the book, she now has a concussion. So we scroll down here and we're gonna hit severe injuries, concussion. So your brain is scrambled like an egg, gain a random disorder, and gain 1 bleeding token. This is not a good start to the story. So this is what I really like about the app. The app takes away a lot of the necessities of having the cards, which for some people I know they really like to play old school and they'll be using the cards. I'll be using the app for a lot of these random stuff like this. So because on here you can just hit these little dice right here and bam, we now have a random disorder, which is squeamish. You cannot depart with any stinky gear in your gear grid. If a status or effect would cause you to become stinky, lose all your survival, which is not bad for right now. So she's knocked down. That's the end of its turn. We will discard this and oh god, and it is now the survivor's turn. So our lion is here. We're gonna go. We have a movement of 5. We cannot move diagonally, so we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Urza is now in the blind spot, and she will be attacking with our founding stone, the wonderful little piece of stone that all the survivors pulled out, literally yanked it out of the ground. They all have one. But here's our founding stone. Come on. Come on. It's got a speed of 2, which means, again, we get to roll 2 dice. And it has an accuracy of 7, but since I'm in the blind spot, then we only have to roll a 6 in order to hit. So, Urza, come on. Well, there we go. We got an 8 and a 9, which means both of those hit. So now we get to roll, or we get to draw 2 of the hit location for the lion. So on this first one, we have to roll. So the lion has a toughness of 6, and the founding stone has a strength of 1. So we have to roll 5 in order to wound it. There we go. So that was a 6, so this one wounds. The reaction on this one was only if we failed, so we don't have to do that. On this next one, I rolled a lantern. I rolled a lantern 10, which makes it, oh come on now. There we go. Which makes this a critical hit. Or a critical wound, excuse me. On some of these cards, you will have, I don't know if that'll focus. On some of these cards, you have critical wounds if you roll that lantern 10. So on this one, it says you bruise the white lion's femur, crippling its graceful movement. The white lion gains -1 movement token, and we gain 1 random white lion resource, which is fantastic. So that was a wound. We're going to put this in the discard pile, and we're going to grab a -1 movement token. There we go. A movement token. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's fine. So that goes up here. So now the white lion can only move 5 spaces just like us, which is great. So now we're going to move old Zachary here. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 and attack from here with the founding stone again. But since we are not in the blind spot, I have to roll a 7 in order to hit with the founding stone. None of those hit. So moving on to Alistair. He's going to move on this side, and same thing. Roll a 7 to hit. That is 1 hit and 1 fail. So we draw this again. Oop, just a normal hit location card. So we shall now roll to wound. We rolled a 3, so that means we get to do the failure reaction, which says perform basic action, target the attacker. The attack gains +2 damage, which absolutely sucks. So our basic action for the white lion has a speed of 2. So both of those hit. We are doing this to Alistair. And it's going to hit his hands and his body. And it's going to do 3 damage because of that +2 damage from the failure. So we're going to have to roll. So he's knocked down. We're going to have to roll on the severe table for the arms. So that came up here and was a 5. Which for the arms is a ruptured muscle. Well, that is a painful rip. The arm hangs limp. You can no longer activate fighting arts. This injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Gain 1 bleeding token. So that one's not the worst thing in the world, but not great neither. And it also hit his body. So we get to roll on the table for that too. See, this is why you don't want to fail with your wound rolls. That one was a 9. Which is just a collapsed lung. That's no big deal, guys. It'll be okay. You can't catch a breath. Gain -1 movement token and gain 1 bleeding token.
So we're going to come down here and, or not strength, movement. So now, that was permanent, wasn't it? Yes. No, 1 token, which means it's temporary. So we just do -1 on its temporary, and now he only has a movement of 4. Assuming he makes it out this round, it's just temporary. Or out of this fight. So now it is the lion's turn. She can stand up now. Wrong one. So, oh jeez. I just got grasp. So this is going to target the closest knockdown survivor, which is going to be Alistair. And it only has a speed of 1, and it's only got an accuracy of 2+. So, and I rolled a 4, which means it's gonna attack him. We've got a damage of 1. So it's going after his waist, which actually isn't that bad considering that's the only place where they have armor. And this one has after damage. The white lion isolates its prey. Full move the white lion away from all threats. Target suffers grab. So he's gonna take our little Alistair here. Push him out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's here. So we moved him 5 spaces away from everyone. Place target, and target suffers grab. So we place the target knocked down in front of the monster. The target suffers 1 damage per monster level. So we have to roll this again, and that's on the feet, which he has not. Alistair's not doing great, guys. We're gonna attempt to get him out though. It'll be okay. So now it is the survivor's turn. So we're gonna move her right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, she's gonna attack with the founding stone, but she's in the blind spot. So we only have to roll 6. Those both hit. Fantastic. So we got our 2. We will roll for the straining neck first, since that one was the first one that we drew. We rolled a 4, so that does nothing. We have to roll at least a 5. That was that one. Let's do this one. That one was also a 4. This one has a failure reaction. We're going to perform a basic action against the attacker. So that is a speed of 2. Both of those hit. On the waist and the body. He's got a damage of 1. So that's actually not that bad. Zachary still has 5, so we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't get into the blind spot, but we can put him back here. So we must roll 7s. We rolled not high enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 1 hit. So again, we have a failure reaction, so let's not fail this roll. We did not. That was a 9. That was a wound, so we're going to take one of these, put it in that discard pile, and now it is the white lion's turn. So we're going to stand Alistair back up, draw our card here. We drew size up, which is going to pick a random threat in the field of view. So Alistair is the only one not in the field of view back here, because he is in the white lion's blind spot. We are going to intimidate our target. So let's pick a target. We're going to do the same method we did before on a roll. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10s are a reroll. So that was a 1. So he's going to target Zachary back here. The monster stares down its prey. Turn to face the target and roll 1d10. On a result of 4+, the target suffers 1 brain damage per monster level and is knocked down. So we rolled a 10. So old Zachary here, it's going to suffer 1 brain damage, so that's colored in now, and is knocked down. Honestly, Size Up is probably one of my favorite White Lion cards because it doesn't do a whole lot. And now it's our turn. So we're going to put Alistair back here because we can. We have to roll 6s to hit. Both of those hit. So we got that one and this one. So the first one here has no reaction on it. That's an 8, so it wounds. So we can put this one in the discard pile. And this one has a reaction of wound. So if we wound it, then we have to do that reaction. Which we wounded it. So on this one, if the attacker has 3+ understanding, the sound of cracking ribs is encouraging and the attacker gains +1 survival. We do not have any understanding. We just started this. So that was another wound, which is just the greatest. So now I'm going to shuffle these up real quick, and now we are going to put Lucy in the blind spot. So both of those are hits. Fantastic. So the first one that I drew, the first hit location for the lion is impervious, which means it will not remove any AI cards. It will not wound, period. But we can still roll to see if we get the critical wound, because then we get the rewards for rolling a lantern 10. We did not do that. Nothing happens. I rolled an 8, but it's impervious, so it doesn't wound. It sucks, but it's fine. That's okay. So let's do this one. This one has a wound reaction. I rolled a 1. I rolled a 1, which is the worst. It's fine. But since we did not wound it, we do not do the wound reaction. So, moving on. We're going to have Urza move to this side and attack, just so that in case there's a reaction, it'll just go after her this way. So, with the Founding Stones, we have to roll a 7. That is 1 wound. There is no reaction on this. So if we fail, it's fine. If we wound, it's fine. Nothing happens. And we wound it. That was a 9. So, another one. You can see I'm not looking at what I'm discarding. I'm just showing you that I'm discarding one. No reaction. Beautiful. Now it's the lion's turn. Oh, good. We got Claw. So this was the very first one we started with. So, closest threat facing in range is going to technically be... It's going to be Urza anyway, because she's the only one not in the blind spot. He was facing this way. She's the only one not in the blind spot that is a threat. So, it's going to attack her. This is a speed of 2. Ooh, I rolled a 1, which means only one of those hits. And it is going to go after her waist. So this is Urza, and it's attacking the only spot that she has armor, which is optimal. Now it is our turn. Zachary can stand, and I'm going to put Zachary in the blind spot. So, again, Founding Stone, blind spot, have to roll a 6. That is 1 hit. So now we will roll to wound. That is a critical wound. I rolled a 10. A lantern 10. So the rewards for... right down here. The rewards for this hit location is cancel the reflex reaction on this, which is just fantastic. I love that. The white lion's tail is destroyed, ruining its finely tuned balance. The white lion gains -1 accuracy token. Gain 1 lion tail white lion resource. So, let us grab that. Okay, so we've got our accuracy token. Got -1 accuracy now. And here is all of our... Oop, those are hunt events. Here's all of our white lion resources. I'm going to find the white lion tail. There we go. Tail. I'm going to place that over in the beyond where you cannot see that we earned that. So that was the critical wound. Now we get to get rid of one of those. That was Zachary's turn, so let's just go ahead and put Alistair back there. That is 1 hit. This one does not have any sort of reaction, which is fantastic. We rolled an 8, which means that one wounds. So now we are down to no more AI cards. which means we only need one more wound and then the white lion is dead. I'm gonna put Urza over here, and she's going to attack. Seven's hit with the Founding Stone. That is 1 hit. I don't know how I haven't drawn the trap yet. Just saying. I've been expecting it. We are more than halfway through this hit location deck, and I have not drawn the trap. This one has a wound reaction, which won't matter because if this wounds, then it dies. That is a 3. That does nothing. So the only thing we can do left is attack with Lucy. She's the only one that has not attacked. Come on, Lucy. None of those hit. So, since I no longer have AI cards, the white lion is going to perform its basic action. So, this one is closest survivor in field of view, one of these two. And the way that I'm going to determine this is we're going to say Urza is evens and Lucy is odds. I rolled a 4. Urza is even, Lucy is odd, so it's going to go after Urza. So this has a speed of 2. We have a -1 accuracy token, so we have to roll a 3+ in order to hit. Both of those hit. It's going after the head and the body. This has a damage of 1. So, head and the body. All the boxes for the head are colored in, so now she is knocked down. But it is now our turn. So, Lucy is in the blind spot due to that attack, so she is going to attack. Those are 2 hits. Ah, there it is. The trap card. Lovely, and it's against Lucy, who already has severe wounds. Oh, it's just 1. That's not that bad. Okay, so, the trap. The attacker is caught in the white lion's ruse and is savagely mauled. So he's going to turn around. The attacker is doomed to perform basic action, target the attacker. So basically, we cannot spend any survival until this card is resolved. So we can't dodge this attack, and we can't roll to see if this wounds, because this overrides everything. So basically, we just have to perform a basic action against Lucy here. So both of those hit. That's going to go after her waist and her body. So that's just 1 on each. Not terrible. She's going to be knocked down. Oops. Lucy, get back there. And now we shuffle the hit location deck. Shuffle that bad boy right back in there. So I'm going to attack with one of the boys, probably Zachary, since I can get him in the blind spot. And if he does not wound, I'm going to throw the Founding Stone to get this last one over with. So it is still technically the survivor's turn. The trap only happened to Urza, so Zachary's going to get back there. Our hit location deck is reshuffled. That is 1 hit. That is all we need, too. Come on, finish this off. That is an 8. What a way to end this. That's done. The white lion is dead. Now, we get to progress the story, since everyone survived. The survivors are victorious. Collect your rewards. By scavenging the monster's corpse, the survivors earned resources. This is in addition to any resources earned from critical wounds during the showdown, which we got 2 of them. A fantastic start. So, we get 4 random white lion resources and 4 basic resources. So here's our random 1, 1, 2. Pull from back here. 3, 4. Alright, and here is our basic resources. We're gonna draw 4 out of here. Technically been shuffled, but you know, I'm gonna ruffle them up anyway. So we got 1, 2. Pull from back here. 3, 4. So that is actually where I'm going to leave this episode for today. We've defeated our first white lion. We've gotten all of these resources. which is fantastic, and we will look at in the next episode. For the next episode, we're going to get into the settlement phase and see how many people we have, see what resources we got, see what we can make with those resources, this, that, and the other. It'll be a great time. And then we'll go on a hunt. It'll be fantastic. So we'll do all of year 1 stuff next time. This was just for the intro and the prologue. So if you've made it this far, first off, thank you for being here. Secondly, if you've made it this far, then perhaps you will be able to endure what all Kingdom Death Monster has to offer. Because, like I said earlier, it is unforgiving, and it's fun, but it is unforgiving. And I'm excited to see where this campaign will lead. So, let me know what you thought of this in the comments below. If you're new, welcome. If you're new to KDM, welcome. Get ready for a harrowing adventure. So tune in next time to see what exactly we do with the settlement, and join me on our first actual hunt. So, until then, y'all be good, y'all take care, and I'll see you in the next one.